Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Top Broker Dubai. Today we are talking about something very important, what could save your time, stress, and even money, about wills and property gifting in UAE. And to navigate those legal essentials, I have a special guest today, Sevara from POA.ae, to help us to understand all the rules and regulation in relation to the wills and the property gifting. Hi, Sevara. Thank you very much for joining this podcast today.
Hi, Katerina. Thank you so much for your invitation. Yes, you are totally right. There are lots of laws and regulations that brokers don't know about. So I will be glad to answer all your questions, and I hope this content will be useful for our audience. Thank you.
Perfect. And I think let's start with the basic. What is the will and why it's important to have?
Actually, having a will is very crucial for property investors, especially for expatriates and non-Muslims, to ensure that their assets are distributed according to their wishes. Because most of people who invest now, sooner or later, will face inheritance. So will help the staters to appoint their guardians, their beneficiaries as they wish. So this is important in UAE.
Yeah, absolutely. Hence my next question. So what's happened if the property owner do not have a will? How do inheritance law apply in UAE?
Yeah, it's a really important question actually. As you know, the UAE follows Sharia law and courts strictly adhere to Islamic law. That is, if person dies without a will, the UAE laws by default apply Sharia law.
And Sharia law applies only to the Muslim or also to non-Muslim people?
This is a good question. Actually, by default, Sharia law applies for Muslims. Fortunately for non-Muslims, the UAE has introduced a personal status law that applies for non-Muslim expatriates and foreigners who reside in the state. And
How about the non-residents? If person owns the property in UAE but they don't live here, which kind of law will apply to them?
for them, apply personal status law for non-Muslims because they are foreigners and expats. And if they, of course, non-Muslims, it's mandatory.
Can you elaborate a little bit about both of those laws? How does Sharia law work and how is other law works?
Yeah, of course. By Sharia law, if person doesn't leave behind a will, the members, like family members of the deceased person, first of all, the heirs will get like the differentiate between male and the female. It means the men will get 2 times more from the girls, and the main heirs, first of all.
So basically, the son will get double share of the than the daughter.
Definitely. Fortunately, by the personal status law for non-Muslims, according that law, in the absence of the will, half of the inheritance will devolve to husband or wife, and the other half will be distributed equally among children.
Sevara, what happens if the person doesn't have any children?
In this case, legacy will devolve to parents of the deceased person. If the deceased person has no parents, in this case, legacy will devolve to brothers, sisters, and etc. It is according to the personal status law for non-Muslims.
Okay. And what is the whole process? So, for example, property owner passed away and there is no will in place. So how we can ensure what his inheritance will get the property under their name? What is the process? How long does it take in case there is no will?
Well, the deceased person's family should appoint a lawyer and open inheritance case, first of all. And the probate case in practice lasts from 6 to 8 months. Sometimes it's
it's quite lengthy process.
Yeah, but sometimes it's up to 1 year. It depends on the specific cases. It's case to case. And the local lawyers accompany the probate case from 20,000 dirhams until 60,000 dirhams. It really depends on the minor hearings and other crucial points. So this is about the money for accompanying the inheritance case. the government fees for every single instance, then providing proof of documents. It means legalizing and fully attesting the certificate of birth, certificate of marriage, and translating into Arabic, of course, are additional costs.
Yeah, each paper you will have to translate
Yes.
to Arabic, legalize everything involved, each step involved an additional cost.
Yeah.
All right, so it's quite lengthy and an expensive process
Yes.
if you don't have a will. And I believe in this case it's the best to think about those situations in advance and prepare the will, right?
Yes, of course.
How much does it cost to make a will, and where do we do it, and what is the charges?
There are three ways to draft a will in the UAE. So the first one is Dubai Court for residents, non-Muslims. The second one is DIFC, Dubai International Financial Center. As for non-Muslims, of course, for residents and non-residents. The third one is ADJD, Juridical Department of Abu Dhabi. In this authority, Muslims, non-Muslims, residents, non-residents can register and draft their wills. Each authority regulating by their own specific rules and specific participants and involve different process.
Sevara, thank you very much. I also want to ask if there is any restriction to leave the will for non-family members.
Actually, no. The testator can appoint a guardian, can appoint beneficiaries, executors. So beneficiaries can be anybody who wishes to appoint testator. But some restrictions when we are talking about minor children, who will be guardian of that minor children. In this case, need to appoint the first degree relatives, or when we are talking about minor daughter, need to find couples like who can be guardian in case the testator dies. After death, who will take care of daughter? So for a minor son, it's okay if they're one man or a woman, like relatives can appoint. But for daughter, it should be it's mandatory woman, the first degree relative, or it's man, it should have a wife. So this kind of restrictions.
Very interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, actually, it's really, this is the point. Lots of brokers don't know about it, but it's important for them. Why? Because brokers, every single time when they sell property, they help other clients, citizens have their new assets in the UAE. And
absolutely, and those very unique points which people who are living abroad, they don't know, because it does not apply in their country. This applies especially in this country, and I think it's equally important to know the rules and regulation of the country. Same like buying property in Dubai. What's happened after you die or something happened, right?
Yeah. Lots of persons don't think about like dying, what will happen after that the person passing away. But for brokers, when they are selling property and they're just mentioning, actually you need to protect your asset. There are certain ways that this is, I think, the professional way, and broker, maybe the whole real estate company will be more competitive among other real estate companies, will be one-stop one-stop solution for them.
Absolutely.
It's important, I think.
Yeah. Sevara, one more question.
Yes.
To make a will, does the person have to physically be present in UAE as well as the person he is appointing to the will, or it's all can be done distantly, remotely?
Yes, of course, all the process can be done online. No need to clients present here. So the process is first of all, we will gather whole package of documents. Then client will fill the questionnaire, like it's mandatory who they want to appoint as a guardian, as the beneficiary, executor, witness. So they will fill the details. According to that details, after the signing the documents, we will prepare draft of the will. Then once a client will approve the draft, then we will book an appointment for online hearing. The online hearing depends on the portal slots of the certain authority, DIFC, ADJD, Dubai Court. So after that, they just need to join the call for online hearing.
So it's like sort of Zoom call?
Yes, it's a sort of Zoom call. It's like actually by Teams. So They just need to prove their identity, show their passports, and the authorized person will read every single clause of the will, and they need to just confirm yes, 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 then online signing process. Here
Very
is,
nice.
yes.
Sounds quite easy process. And another question I have, what if person do have will in their home country? Does it apply here?
No, unfortunately, no.
Here they need to create the will as per country's rules.
Yes, actually, because some clients asking, I already made a will in my own country, let's say Russia. Yeah, they already distributed like assets in the UAE by the Russian law. Russian Federation law. So it cannot be accepted even after legalizing and translating into Arabic. Need to draft a will here in the UAE. The other one point, lots of clients from Central Asia choosing DIFC. Why they are choosing DIFC? Because after the drafting of the will through DIFC, through ADJD, the inheritance case, which I explained to you before, will not be opened. It's no need to open. Of course, there are some certain processes for execution of the will, registering to new heirs, but see, it's not like opening case. But when we are talking about Dubai court, it's mandatory to open inheritance case anyway. But the will by Dubai court will speed up the process for like
It
few
will not
months.
take 1 year or
Yes,
one
of
and a half
course.
year, maybe
Yeah.
3 to 4 months.
Yes, yes. Yeah,
That's
this is
great.
the point. And one that differentiate moment, DIFC can include worldwide assets in the UAE by theory. That's by the law. We can add like assets in the Turkey, in the Europe, America, Central Asia, let's say. Yeah, we can add this. But we strictly recommend clients to consult with their lawyers in that country. So if they can apply this will in their country or not. So it depends on international documents. So it's important to check. By the law, we can add this, but in practice, how it works, need to check, of course.
Okay, Sevara, thank you very much. And my final question, what's the fee? How much is to make a will in UAE?
So the expensive one is DIFC. The full wheel government fee is 10,000 dirhams. Actually, there are 5 types of wheels. Only in DIFC, it's full wheel, guardianship wheel, property wheel, financial assets wheel, and business assets wheel.
And each of them has a
Different costs. The expensive one is 10,000, one of them 7,500, one of them 5,000, but the most expensive one is 10,000. When we are talking about Dubai court, their government fee 2,100, and when we are talking about ADJD, it's around 1,000. So lots of clients don't know about ADJD, so they can make a will through ADJD also.
What is the beneficial for them to make it there rather than in Dubai court or DFC?
Yeah, as I mentioned, for the execution process. After, if you will draft your will through DIFC or ADJD, after the end in the execution process, no need to open inheritance case.
All right, I understand. Yeah, we
Yeah.
just spoke about it.
Yeah.
Okay, Sevara, thank you very much. Sevara, I heard there is a new rule for the personal status court for non-Muslim. Can you please elaborate a little bit on this?
Yes, actually, I heard about this also. The UAE has introduced new personal status law for Muslims. So it will get into force on the April 2025. So it will change lots of things. So we are waiting for implementation of this law. For now, for Muslims, I can recommend gifting process, or if it's like, let's say, multimillionaire Muslim who has like 10 properties, 2, 3, 5 companies, in this case I can recommend the DIFC or ADJD Foundation. But as gifting, like 2, 3 properties, they can give to their wives who they want.
Yeah, that's amazing. And let's move for our next subject, which is a gifting properties in UAE. Can you please tell us what is the process and what's the requirements for someone to gift their property in UAE?
Yes, So the property gifting is called in other way sometimes property grant or hiba. It's a voluntary transferring of the property from one person to another person. So without consideration. So there is no sales purchase proceeds like money. So so the gifting process it's like common here, but there has some restrictions. So the first restriction is about the first relatives. By the local legislation, the first relatives are parents, couples, like it's a wife or husband, or children. That's all. The point is siblings are not including to the first point relatives. So when we are talking about siblings, brothers, sisters, they should sell to each other property. And the other point in gifting, let's say it's off-plan gifting. In this case, you need to get NOC from the developer to proceed with gifting.
And how about if the property mortgaged? Can it be gifted?
Yes, of course, it can be gifted, but request approval from mortgagee bank. Yeah. In prior, in fact, in prior before gifting process, the bank will settle the full amount to new receiver, just to pay the full amount, or transfer the due in fee to the new receiver, if they meets the financial requirements of the bank, of course.
All right, that's great. And can the property be gifted to the minor?
Yes, of course, it can be gifted, but legal guardian should manage that property until the minor will reach adulthood.
And what is the adulthood age in UAE?
In UAE, it's 21 years. The adulthood age is 21 years by law.
And what are the fees involved and the process?
So there are certain government fees. The first huge difference is between the sales and purchase process, let's say. The huge difference is in DLD fees. As you know, when we are selling or purchasing the properties, DLD fees are per person. Right. But when we are gifting, it's 0.125%. When we are talking from the value of the property, of course. So this is the huge difference when we are talking.
And this 0.125% is payable to the balance department.
Yes.
Yeah, to change the title deed.
It is the fees of Dubai Land, Dubai Land Department, DLD. Despite all this, we have fees for trustee or fees for getting NOC from developer, from facilities. They have some other fees. Then if it's townhouse or villa, need to get certificate of new valuation. Sometimes it needed. It's another cost. So
I believe those are the same fees which involved in the sales and purchase agreement.
Yes.
When you do, the only difference is the transfer fee. Instead of 4%, it's 0.125, but other fees are standard for the
Actually,
NOC to
yes.
the developer, trustee fee,
Yes.
etc.
Yeah. The same. The
All
huge
right.
difference is only about this.
And is there any restrictions or limitation to gifting for the non-family member?
Yes, of course. We can gift only for, as I mentioned, first degree relatives. Sometimes we have clients like they want trick the law. Let's say they want to give their property to their mother. Mother will give property to brother.
Oh, so they do like double gifting.
Yeah, but
Okay.
by the law, double gifting is not allowed. This is the point. To prevent, of course, like avoiding the DLD fees, of course. Yeah. But when I'm talking about gifting to company which owns by the same person, sometimes it can be gifted again to the same person. So it's like I have my property and I have my own company. I'm gifting to my own company. So the same person, just a legal entity. Then in some restrictions we have, but they can be double gifted again to me. I'm not gifting to another person, again to me, to sell or some any other reasons actually.
Okay, that's interesting. Sevara, thank you very much. This has been incredibly insightful. And before we wrap up this episode, any final advice for our property owners?
Yes, of course. For investors, first of all, I can recommend please sit down and seriously think about protecting your assets. when you get new properties, you need to think about protecting them. It's really, really important and crucial. So lots of investors think when I will be in Dubai physically, I will do it, I will find partners, but actually we can proceed online. So no need physically be here.
Exactly. The
Yeah.
process is easier than it sounds, and if you plan for it in advance, everything can be done remotely, and it will not take you so much time when the things already
Yes, yes,
gone.
yes. It's really, really important because I worked as a assistant of a lawyer, so I participated in inheritance process. I helped our lawyer, so I saw how many families like struggling to prove that they are only wife, they are only the children from that deceased person. So it will take long time actually, and it's very like emotionally.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
Yes,
stress, it's time,
yes,
it's
of
money.
course.
Okay, guys, so prevent yourself and your loved one from any hassle. Um, invest smart, think wise, and plan your future ahead of time. And that's all for today. Sevara, thank you very much. If you guys have any questions, please comment and we will be more than happy to answer all your questions. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video if this content was helpful for you, and see you in my next video.